Guys, what is good? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys can hear me. I hope you guys are all doing well. And today we got a special feature, a different person. And you guys already know in this channel, it's mainly Barca. I'll probably say it's 85% Barca. Maybe 15% is the rest is just trolling Madrid. But listen, today it's the first time I've seen him, right? On live, right? And listen, I'm going to be pretty respectful, right? Big up Dally. How you doing, my guy? He took his time to come on the channel. Big up to you, bro. Great content on his channel. His title, for his channel is in the my bad. His description, basically, if you click on the title, you can go to his channel and also check him out. He's got great English Real Madrid content, bro. But how are you doing today, man?
Doing good, man. Doing good. I had to come and represent a little on the Barca Reacts channel, man. I had to do.
Yeah.
I pulled up wearing the proper outfit and stuff. But how you doing, man? How's the Al Sofa versus Barcelona games? How are those going?
Bro. Hey.
I can't talk that much.
Yeah, no. Listen, I'm not gonna lie, bro. The thing is, bro, I'm not gonna lie. I'll be real, and we'll talk about the Club World Cup later. But right now, I'm gonna be real. I can't lie. Imagine we had a horrible season and then we had to watch the Club World Cup. Imagine Real Madrid, what they did last season, 2 years ago now.
Oh, yeah.
And then we have to watch the Club World Cup. At least we have 3 trophies and we're watching. It's not the end of the world. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. I'm not going to lie. Of course, I want to be in the Club World Cup. I saw my GOAT, Lionel Messi, score a sick free kick. But
that was nice.
It is what it is, bro. It is what it is. Our players, they need the rest, but let's see, bro. Let's see what happens. I'm not too bummed out, though, just because we did have a good year. But listen, bro, there is a lot to talk about, right? About Barcelona, Real Madrid, and also big up to the chat. But, guys, please smash the like. So then when you smash the likes, new people find the content, and they subscribe to the channel. They can subscribe to Dally too. But, guys, of course, smash the like, subscribe if you're new. Big up to the whole chat, right? And let's get started, bro. And you know what? I want to get started with kind of last season recap. I've said a little bit about Barcelona, but let's start off with Real Madrid, bro. Like last season, I'm not gonna lie, as a Barca fan, when you guys got Mbappe, right? And let me just say my perspective. Just think about this real quick. You guys got Mbappe, okay? You guys already won the Champions League. We got Dani Olmo, Pau Victor, and a bag of chips. Like, legitimately, we got nothing. I'm not even joking. On top of that, Pau Victor didn't play. And then the one signing that we make, Dani Olmo, the first game of La Liga, he wasn't registered. So we basically got nobody. So then at the time, it was a nightmare scenario going against a team that won the UCL. But Hansi Flick, he worked his magic. But I want to hear what you got to say, as the Madrid fan, different perspective. What do you got to say about last season in general?
The funny thing is I'm looking at the table now, and I think Barcelona clearly was the better team last year. I'm looking right now, 102 goals compared to 78 for Real Madrid. Same amount of losses. Now, granted, Barcelona, after the secured La Liga and everything like that, foot off the gas, same thing happened to Liverpool and stuff like that. I think the expectations last year was everything. I don't think there was a competition that Real Madrid, any Madridista really thought that we would be losing until we actually got to see what it was happening. And, that is why early days I was saying, I think Xabi Alonso is going to be hopping in here. I was thinking that, no matter what exactly happened, even if we won Champions League, I still thought Carlo was going to be leaving at the end of the year last year.
You know what's funny? I actually believe that now because at the time, right? And big up to my guy, Barca Volume. Apparently, Dally, he's saying that you said something about Nico, but listen, we'll talk Nico. We'll talk about that later. What I want to say, bro, and big up to chat, right? Get your chats in. But I was going to say, Real Madrid, right? I didn't believe that they were going to sack Carlo anyway until basically they didn't back Carlo Ancelotti. And now when I look at the history, last season, as much as we blamed Carlo Ancelotti, right? Me, Real Madrid fans, they're all killing Carlo Ancelotti. I was saying, you guys let Toni Kroos walk. On top of that, right? You guys need every signing that you guys are getting right now this season, right? This transfer window, you guys needed the same signings last season, but you guys didn't get it. So I felt like Perez needed some blame. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. It sounds very weird to say it, but I was saying.
No, I agree with you 100%. 100%.
You know what I'm trying to say, though, right? I was saying Carlo Ancelotti, you take his engine and Toni Kroos. On top of that, Real Madrid, they've needed a center back for years because Militao's ACLs. You don't give him a center back. On top of that, the left back, Ferland Mendy's, not really the guy. Fran Garcia's never got it going, right? Always needed a left back. And then on top of that, Joselu left, and that was so underrated. That was an underrated piece, not just in the Champions League. People are saying, oh, yeah, the game versus Bayern. No, Joselu, I remember you guys, he won like 3 or 4 La Liga games because of Joselu, right? And I was like, you're taking a lot away from Ancelotti's team that won the UCL. So I'm like, Florentino Perez needs some blame for not like recruiting replacements. But now that I think about it, before I let you speak again, I'm not going to lie. I kind of see that Perez probably just wanted to move off of Ancelotti. He probably wanted to give the job to a younger coach anyway, because now look at it. He's going crazy in the transfer market, getting a player like it feels like you guys are rumored to a new player every week. But listen, what do you think about that take, man?
I think you're spot on. I butcher his name every time. Joselu, underrated for. I think he's always going to be remembered for the 2 goals he got against Bayern Munich. But at the same, he was clutch. He was clutch last year. That's why so many people in my comments in my live streams are like, we need a Joselu type. Because basically, I think an underrated thing is too. We lost Nacho at the center back position, okay. So you lost Joselu, somebody who was banging in goals for us last year. I mean, like Vinny. Like, I think I'd have to look at the exact numbers, but Vinny, like this year, put up almost the exact same stats, but it was a worse year. It felt like, a lot more games and stuff like that too. But you lose Joselu, you lose Kroos, and you lose Nacho. And I think Nacho is probably one of the most underrated pieces too. Militao, he had the ACL last year too, but not having Nacho this year, man, it only leadership value-wise and just having another like solid center back, he might not be excellent and stuff like that. Kind of like what you guys have, you know what I mean? But to pair with Kubasi. So
no, you know where it is, bro. I'm not gonna lie though. Like if I'm talking about last season, once again, I didn't expect to be good. If you're actually like telling me the truth, Hansi Flick was the reason why we were good. Like I'm gonna be real. Like Real Madrid's fall off wasn't expected. I maybe winning a UCL back to back would have been tough, but I'm gonna be real. I thought you guys would have won La Liga. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, right? My expectations coming into the season was let's just get 1 domestic cup, at least 2, right? If you can keep La Liga close for as long as it can be, and then we get off to legit a fast start, like a super fast start in La Liga, like legitimately, we could not stop winning for like the first 3 months. And it was not just 1 goal margin wins like under Xavi, which was unconvincing. Oh, they're going to fall off eventually. No, we were a blitzing team, left, right, and center. Even Real Madrid, the first, the best week of the season for me was when we beat Real Madrid, Bayern, and Sevilla. That week, brother, I felt like I was levitating. I can't even lie, bro. Like, legitimately. No, it wasn't even Real Madrid. I'm going to be honest. It's because we beat Bayern. I'm tired of Bayern Munich, by the way. Yeah. Listen, that team, it was long overdue, bro. And the way that we beat them convincingly, too, I was like, yo, that was the week that gave me some hope. Yo, like, this team, we could actually do something. And then we ended up winning 3 trophies. And I felt like we deserved it. Maybe you disagree, but I felt like we were the best team this year. But in the Champions League, the only problem, bro, was that Inter Milan, we lost our fullbacks. And I'm not going to be like, yo, bro. Inter Milan beat us and we just lost, bro. Like, there's no excuses. Our defense was so poor. You cannot concede 7 goals and say, yo, we deserve to be in the final. Like, I'm going to be objective from that standpoint, right? And listen, that we didn't win the UCL, but overall, I do say it's a great year for us because the expectations were so low, right? It was just Hansi Flick that made the season successful. But were you surprised by Barcelona this season? That's my question to you.
Yeah, I think the big thing was last year, you guys were supposed to get Nico Williams. That was the whole thing. Right. Nico Williams coming, yada, yada. And, I chat about it before. I root for Brazil when it comes to international football. So you guys were just throw my guy Rafinha, Rafinha out, put him to the bench. Here comes Nico and stuff like that. And
we don't talk about that anymore,
Rafinha went off. That's the thing too. So happy for him for Brazil's perspective, but he went to another level. I think Yamal leveled up a little, but I still think the difference between what Rafinha was the year before to what he was this year compared to like what Yamal was, I still think Yamal needs be a little more of a clinical finisher. Yes. But just overall, you guys were just blitzing teams. It didn't matter, that high line. I still think we'll see. We'll see. I could be wrong. I still think it will be eventually exposed. I think,
Oh no,
you probably
bro,
would have thought. You
don't
probably would
have
have
to
thought
ask
that
me,
last year
bro.
too. Yeah.
No, this is the truth, bro. Like, I'm gonna be honest, bro. The high line for like the first 2/3 of the season, I actually thought was good. The last 1/3, that was not a high line. That was a suicide line. We legit, bro. We conceded 3 to a bad Real Madrid team. The last El Clasico. Let's be real. A bad Real Madrid team. They scored 3 on us. Celta Vigo legitimately scored 3 on us, right? On top of it, and we had to do a remontada. Not just that, Inter Milan scored 7 in 2 games. That high line was not working. I don't care, because if you're averaging 3 goals conceded, and then some of our fans, this is where I kind of get mad at some of our fans when they're like, yo, it's all Ronald Araujo. Ronald Araujo didn't even play like probably half of these games. It's not just one player. The system's not working because the players are burnt out, and Hansi Flick is not adjusting, to the players that he's got. And that was my one criticism. Like, the high line doesn't always work, especially late in games. But I do want to go to one of the comments that you said. Hey, bro, Lamine Yamal, that's fact, bro. Like, I don't know if you agree with this. I actually think Lamine Yamal is the best player in the world. I'm not even saying this out of bias, because if I was a lot of Barca fans think it's Rafinha. But I think Lamine Yamal has got everything outside of finishing. I think if he polishes up on that finishing, I think he can be the best player in the world. I truly believe that. And listen, I mean, I want to hear what you got to say about that. Comment,
So are you calling him the best player in the world? Because
I'm gonna be real.
saying he could
I
be?
Can stand on it, bro. Listen, I think he's the best player in the world right now. I just think that once he gets to finishing, he'll be a consensus, basically. Like, he'll be like, people will start calling him from other fan bases. But right now, people will still say Mbappe and Mo Salah, but I still think he offers so much. I'm not gonna lie. But what do you got to say about that, bro?
Yeah, the thing with Yamal, the PR is insane. I don't, to answer the question, I don't think he's the best player in the world right now. And the thing with me, and I was saying it last year too, didn't have as many subs and stuff, and maybe my audience wasn't hearing me as much, but I was saying I think Yamal can be like an all-timer. I got a question for you here in a second about Yamal, but he's got to finish more. He's got to be scoring. You can't be getting nine goals in La Liga. I said like 20. If he gets 20 next year, he's still 20 and 20, a little double, something like that. 20 assists, 20 goals. I think you could probably call him that in La Liga, right? I think he's a very exciting player. And if you were building a squad around anyone in the world, I'd probably be taking him number 1. I still think Mbappe overall is just a better player. I think you could probably even say Salah. And then I thought Rafinha was better this year too for Barcelona still. I think he just put up the stats and everything like that. And there was times where Yamal, he just didn't have a great game. There was times Yamal had a great game, but Rafinha constantly, I thought, goals, assists, everything this year.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie.
He just went crazy. So
my bad for cutting off. But my thing is that I'm not going to lie. Rafinha, I think some fans think that, like, I don't credit him as much. But it's just that, like, I don't know. The guy was relentless, but for me, I always look at guys who can just create a chance out of nothing. And that's like Lamine Yamal. Like with all due respect, like Mo Salah cannot do that. I just don't think he can dribble past. Like the goal he scored against Inter, I don't think Mo Salah can score that. But obviously over the course of a season, Mo Salah is going to score 35 goals and Yamal is going to get like 15 maybe. So that's like 20 difference. So I hear what you're saying. But listen, this is the thing though. I think that his goal scoring will improve. I think in all competitions, he's had like 17, 18, something like that. Like if he can get me 25 next year, maybe 25, 26, I think that's a good amount for a winger. We also got Lewandowski, we got Ferran, we got Rafinha, we got Dani Olmo. Like there's a lot of goals, and that's not really his main thing. But when you watch the games, that is true. Yamal does have to be more clinical, I will say. But listen, I do want to move on to one thing right here. Let's talk about transfer news, because listen, this is one thing about Real Madrid, and big up to the chat, bro. Listen, I'm not even getting cocky, my against Santiago, but listen, I wanted to move on basically to Real Madrid. One bad season, and they're legitimately signing everybody. Like this transfer window, the season didn't even end. Trent Alexander announced, right? Then I see Dean Huijsen, and then on top of that, I was seeing Alvaro Fernandez leaks. I don't know what happened to that. Like, I don't know what's happened, but I don't know if are you guys still getting him? I don't even know.
Carreras?
Yeah. Alvaro from Benfica.
Yeah, but it's interesting. So whenever I talk about it, I try to get like news, you know what I mean? I feel like you probably make rumor videos every day and stuff like that. Apparently Fabrizio Romano said player side, it was agreed. He has like a $50 million release clause that the way Real Madrid's been working, they're not paying in one lump sum. I think that's going to be kind of the interesting thing within the Nico Williams situation with Barcelona. Are they going to pay the one lump sum, which, even though the team probably has it, they don't want to do it. You know what I mean? They want to spread out that payment. I don't know if Carreras is coming. I also don't know if he's that good of a player, to be honest. I mean, I know a lot of people who was watching Barcelona were saying, I don't think he pocketed Yamal like Mendes did or anything like that.
Nah, you know what it is, bro. Honestly, Carreras is the things that he was the best left back against Lamine Yamal 3 different times, or at least 2 of the times he was very good against Lamine Yamal. So like, I was like, yo, if they get Carreras, that's just annoying because the guy, like from watching him, he's got an engine. That's the one thing that I know. Like he's got an engine on him. Like, how Fede Valverde has an engine? He's got an engine. Like for us, Fermin Lopez has got an engine. Carreras is kind of annoying because he's physically fit. Like he can keep, bro, even if you pass him, he'll recover and then you got to beat him again. Like he's an annoying player to play against. That's what I would say. But
yeah, I mean, he's physical and he's 6'3" too. Yeah. But I just think when you talk about like upgrades and stuff like that, like how much, do you think Balde's better than him? I probably would say Balde's better. I think he offers more.
I think Balde, because Balde has like probably more qualities. Like in general, like Balde can like dribble out of pressure. You know what I'm saying? Like just he doesn't need a pass through pressure. When there's no pass, Balde can just like dribble through like 2 guys and then just make another pass. So that's what Balde's got over him. I think he's still a good player. I mean, I hear what you're saying. Like, is he that much better than like Ferland Mendy? I mean, he's better, but it's not a crazy amount. Like, I know what you're talking about, but
I just feel like you would have 3 like okay to like average left backs with Mendy, Fran, and Carreras. I don't think you have, and the thing is that what I would want is an elite left back. You know what I mean? A player that I like a lot is Guardiola for Man City. He's a little different type of player like a Nuno Mendes and stuff like that, which is a pipe dream. That will never happen. PSG is not going to sell him for cheap ever. It'd be like they'd be 200 million or something. It'd be something dumb. But I don't know. I think that's gonna be our weakest link this year. I could also see maybe the second center back might be, depending if Rudiger's healthy. Asensio, I thought he was good last year, but I think Huijsen's better than him already, even though he's younger. And Asensio, he's just a little too raw still.
Oh, you're saying Asensio and Dean Huijsen, right?
Yep.
Okay, now I would say Huijsen's better because the only thing 100%. With I'm not gonna lie, that Asensio guy that you got, he's a good defender, but he's kind of rash. That's what I've noticed. Yep. Like I've seen him commit dumb fouls sometimes. I know what he's trying to do. Like we got Cabarsi, who I rate by the way, but he also does like dumb things where he's trying to act heroic. Like, bro, you got a goalkeeper for a reason. Just put him off. You don't have to do a slide tackle all the time. Like, but Huijsen's nice, bro. I can't lie. Like, I want to see what he does though. In Real Madrid, this is the thing though. I always say it. It's different when you're at a Real Madrid, a Barca, even United, and like a Liverpool. Now you're getting watched. You're actually getting watched week in, week out. Like at Bournemouth, let's be real. We highly rate him, but who is watching Bournemouth? Let's be real, bro. Nobody's watching Bournemouth week in, week out. We see
they were pretty fun to watch this year. I mean, I think
they were, but like still, bro. But I do got a comment right here that I do want to talk about. I mean, I hear what you're saying, random guy. Saying back in the day you need 40 goals, right, to be considered the best. 9 goals is enough, bro. I'm gonna be honest. Right now, though, do we have a player in the world that I feel like is so good? Like we don't have a Lionel Messi or Cristiano in his prime. Like I don't think even a Neymar Jr. I don't think we have one of those right now. That's why when I'm saying Lamine Yamal, I think he's the best. I don't even think it's that crazy. I think right now there's a debate for the best player in the world, but I don't think there's no consent. There's legit no right answer. If you say Salah, actually, no, I disagree. If you say Salah, you're wrong. But if you say like Mbappe, and if you say Yamal, if you say somebody else, like you could say Rafinha, I would actually disagree with that a bit more. But it is what it is, bro. Everybody's got their opinion at the end of the day. So
I think what might be happening is you're saying Yamal is the most exciting player, I think, to watch. Every time he touches the ball, you're like, is it going to be a Travella pass? Is he going to shoot it from deep? What's he going to do with it? I understand that. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's more of an argument. I just think he has to be a more clinical finisher to be considered. That's just my opinion.
No. I agree with that. No, but it's just like legitimately, whenever Lamine Yamal touches the ball, like I'm actually watching the game. Like I'm locked in. What is this guy gonna? Is gonna be a nutmeg, Travella? What's gonna happen? But when it's like, I'm gonna be honest. I'll be fair, right? Because Rafinha is a similar player to like an Mbappe or like a Salah just as last season. I'm not really like, yo, Rafinha's on the ball in the middle of the pitch. What's he gonna do? Like he'll pass it off. Rafinha is a guy where he makes his money in the final third. Like it's just a preference at the end of the day. Like it is what it is, bro. Like some people will say the stat error. Listen, in football. You need goals at the end of the day too, so I hear it. But I do want to go back to transfers, right? Trent Alexander-Arnold, right? I do want to talk about this guy. Did you see the interview that this guy learned Spanish just overnight? He said, apparently, according to Trent, he said that he learned Spanish in 2 weeks fluently. Do you believe him? Hell no, I don't believe him.
No,
but do you believe him?
No, probably a couple of months. And the thing is, I have not heard him speak Spanish other than the introductory press conference, which you have to think, I mean, everybody here went to school. We all had to do presentations and stuff like that too, that you practice for 2 minutes or something like that. He memorized that. He had that down and everything like that. Guess it's Duolingo streak. He got that down. I literally haven't heard him speak any Spanish at all. He's done a lot of other like presses and stuff like that with Real Madrid. He hasn't spoke Spanish once. So
yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie. It is what it is. But I got a question. Let's talk about Trent right now. So Trent Alexander. So I'm not gonna lie to you. I was hate watching, bro, against Al Hilal. You said it, bro. We're on the sofa. But bro, I'm gonna be shameless. This guy was kind of getting cooked, semi-cooked, bro, a bit. He was kind of looking shaky against Al Hilal. So I got a question to you. How would he guard, like, just forget about Rafinha and Nico, like just in La Liga, the wingers are pretty good. Like I remember Las Palmas, they had like a Molero guy. I think that's his name. He can dribble. You got a Zaragoza, right? Like for whichever team he plays, he always is bouncing off La Liga team to La Liga team. Like I'm telling you right now, La Liga, there's always a decent winger in those mid-table teams. Like, you think he's gonna do well in La Liga?
I think he'll do fine. When he got announced and everything, and when the rumors were happening, he's never been my favorite right back in the world. If everybody was healthy and stuff like that, I've always rated Reece James more than him. I mean, even just when it comes to England. And when I think of right backs, I think Carvajal is like underrated for how good of a player he is. He's not going to be somebody who has the most speed. It's not the best shooter in the world, but he just does a little bit of everything at a very high level, and he's smart. And sometimes to be right back, you have to be smart. And he's not the quickest, but he's in a good position too. He's scoring goals when he needs to. He's overlapping and stuff like that. Trent's best attribute is his passing. You know what I mean? But he's not fast. And the difference between what Trent will offer and what Carvajal is, Carvajal would overlap with whoever the right winger is, and he's going to go deep. And that's what Vasquez was doing too. So far, what we got to see from Trent is he's going to invert into the midfield. Now, we're going to have to see exactly what happens with like Fede, because I think Fede is going to have to cover him more. It's going to be interesting, the position that we get to see, because Real Madrid should be dominating teams in possession, right?
Yeah.
So the big thing for me, and I've talked about it before, is Real Madrid, they need to finish their opportunities on attack. Let's get a corner kick. Let's make the goalkeeper try to save it and stuff like that. What happens, we're getting dispossessed and then we're getting caught. Trent's not that fast to be able to get back, anything like that. Then he's going to get exposed. He looked Lucas Vasquez-esque in the last one.
You know where it is, bro.
So
you know what it is with Trent Alexander? I'm not going to lie to you. Like, if you offered me Trent Alexander to Barca, of course I'm taking it. Trent is a player that his highs, like, outweigh his lows. Like, I'm going to be real. Like, you just have to find a way to fit him into the system. Because, bro, I'm not going to lie. The guy's passing is actually world-class. Like, it's not even exaggerating. His passing, his way to pass, his precision, like everything about Trent's crossing, he can do with both feet. I'm not going to lie to you. He's a great player. The only thing that I kind of see where Trent could struggle is that, I'm going to be real, Real Madrid, there's times in the Champions League, especially in La Liga, by the way, I think he's going to cook. Only against Barca, maybe an Atleti, maybe the odd mid-table team, he might struggle, but that's kind of normal. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. I'm just saying, in the UCL, when Real Madrid plays like a Man City, remember 2 years ago when you guys, parked the bus? Trent is kind of mid at defending crosses. Like, he's very mid. And if Real Madrid have to park the bus, his defensive awareness, we had it with Cancelo, a fullback that just has bad defensive awareness. I think that could cost you guys a bit. But listen, we'll see. I mean, that's why you guys have Thibaut Courtois at the end of the day. But listen, I mean, that's what I don't know. Do you disagree with that?
No, I don't disagree. That's going to be the biggest issue with him is always the defending and everything like that too. When we compare him to Carvajal, I think defensively he's a downgrade. But when we compare him to Vasquez, he's got to be an upgrade. What I mean? Lucas Vaz. So that's the thing. If we're comparing Carvajal, yes, he's not going to be as good. Passing's going to be better, but he's got to be better than Vasquez. And Vasquez is awful. So
you know what it is? It's just that Carvajal, you know what it is? He gained his respect because I'm not going to lie, even as a rival, the reason why Carvajal gained respect is two things. He won a bunch of trophies, big trophies, UCLs. And on top of it, he doesn't really have a flaw, bro. It's like a bunch of 7 and 7s and 8 out of 10s, you know what I'm saying, across the board. So you just have to rate it, you know what I'm saying? Eventually, bro, after a third UCL, you just got to say, yo, how good is he in like the old-time right backs, right? But Carvajal, is he going to even play, bro? Because, like, he got a nasty injury. He got a completely nasty injury. I was watching that live, and that was like, yo, your leg's not going to – he's not supposed to bend that way. But I don't know if he's going to –
Yeah, I was just going to say, the thing with Carvajal, he's not going to be the same player he was ever. I mean, just age alone, he's just getting older. He's like 33, I think he is right now. He's going to turn 34 this year, plus having that horrible injury. He's not going to be the same Carvajal. He's not going to start for Spain anymore, anything like that. I don't think he's going to be starting for Real Madrid. He might be like a sub every once in a while. I think when it comes to Trent, though, what we can save him from is maybe the 3 center backs at the back. And maybe we're not as reliant on him having to go be the right back who's defending. And maybe you can move a Raul Asensio who has pace, who can go. He is a little reckless, like you and I said already. But maybe that can kind of save Trent a little bit from getting completely lost in the sauce, because that is my worry with him.
Yeah, nah, I hear it, bro. But, hey, you know what? Let's move off of Real Madrid. You know what I'm saying? Let's speak about, and we'll come back to it, but let's speak about some Barca transfers, because we've already made one official signing. We presented him, Joan Garcia. In my opinion, listen, all I tell the fans is that hashtag Ter Stegen out was trending for a reason. At the end of the day, whether you like him or not, whether he's a legend or not, he was trending out for a reason. And we needed a goalkeeper. That's the truth. Barcelona, you know why? You know what was the moment that I said Ter Stegen needs to leave Barca? It was actually not the UCL that he won recently. It was the one before that where Benzema was just, bro, I'm not going to lie, Benzema, bro, whatever that guy was drinking, that UCL, that was some destiny, what I saw from Benzema. I'm not going to even lie, right? But Thibaut Courtois, I feel like, was the second best player in that UCL run. And I was like, yo, you can win a UCL with your goalkeeper being one of the best players if they step up in big games. And Ter Stegen, if we're being honest, when was the last time that he stepped up like Thibaut Courtois in the UCL? Thibaut Courtois, by the way, I rate him as an all-time goalkeeper already. I think that even against Manuel Neuer, I think that he's more consistent in big games than Manuel Neuer. I'm not going to lie. It sounds crazy because Neuer he's a legend, but in big games, I've seen Courtois in so many big games, this guy stepped up, like legitimately. So I was like, yo, it's not to like, bro, I'm not saying Joan Garcia has to be Courtois, and I'm not saying Ter Stegen has to either, but we need a goalkeeper that can win us a tie that we're not even that good in. Because let's be real, Real Madrid, they haven't always been in the 5-6 UCLs that you guys have recently. Maybe you guys were the best in half of them. The other half was just maybe you're in the top 5, but you got over a tie because of your goalkeeper and defense. And that's what we need in Joan Garcia. But, I mean, do you got any words on Garcia, man?
Yeah, the thing is with him, I'm just trying to think how much of an upgrade is he? You know what I mean? Like, he might be somebody eventually who's a bigger upgrade too. I'm just trying to think. He only had 8 clean sheets in La Liga last year too. 51 goals conceded. And 38 match, like
Espanol though, bro.
I understand that. I understand. I think that's the thing. But at the same time, do you think there's somebody better out there that you guys could have gone, or do you think it's the cheaper option? What was he, 30 million or something like that too?
No. So the funny thing is that he was actually our first option, but he was also probably going to be the cheapest because we only had our first options was Chevalier, right, from I think Lille. Right, I think that was the goalkeeper from Lille, the French one. And then it was Joan Garcia. Those were our 2 first options. And then I think a backup was like some people were saying Emi Martinez, but I'm not gonna lie. I feel like that was just fans linking it, to be honest. But he was in our top 2 and he was cheaper. The other Chevalier was gonna be like 40 mil plus maybe. So I mean, it's a great price. Also, I think it helps that he's Spanish, right? So like, you know, French players, they might not have the same feeling about Barca being the biggest club in the world that Spanish players will. Like, let's be real. The Real Madrid, like Spaniards, like Carvajal, they probably rate Real Madrid higher than like a Tchouaméni. It's just how it is, bro. They're born and raised there. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I do want Garcia because he knows what it means to play for Barca, and he's down the road. Espanyol is legitimately down the road of Barca. But by the way, he got some hate comments, by the way, bro. The Espanyol fans absolutely killed him. But listen, I'm starting to like him already. But I have a question. What about the Courtois take about your goalkeeper is like important in you winning a UCL? Because I feel like, bro, we've seen it even this year with Donnarumma against Aston Villa. Like, I just believe that there's going to be a game in the UCL where you need your goalkeeper to step up. There will be, I feel like.
No, I think you're spot on with that. I think sometimes nothing's going to work defensively. You're going to get exposed. You just need him to say something. You need to have confidence. And I understand for Barcelona this year, it was not a lot of confidence in whoever was back there. I remember before you guys got Szczesny, I can't remember the goalkeeper. It was in the first leg. I was like, there's no way you guys win La Liga. There's no way you guys win anything.
Was it Inaki Peña?
Yes, yes. I was like, there's no way. I was like, man, he is awful. I'm just like, you guys got away with this one, but I was like, they're going to. And then you guys went and got Szczesny.
You don't understand. Bro, that's why I said the best week of the season for me. We didn't even win a trophy in it. Forget the 3 trophies. The best week for me was the Bayern, Sevilla, Real Madrid week. Because that week, I can't believe it. We walked into the Bernabeu with Inaki Peña as our goalkeeper. If Mbappe, you guys don't understand. If Mbappe, that was the game where he was offside 8 times. If he was just onside, I promise you he bags a brace, at least. Because Inaki Peña's, bro, he's not intimidating. It's not like he's great at really anything. Maybe his sweeping is his best part, and that's not even a real goalkeeping trait, really. So it's like, if Mbappe just held his run, that legitimately could have been a different result because he's not a good goalkeeper. We've been trying to get rid of him for 2 years. Apparently, he always comes late to training too. He's not a good player in general to have. So I'm not gonna lie. That week, I couldn't believe we made it out. That was the week I said, yo, we might be legit this season. But I want to move off Joan Garcia, right? But what about Nico Williams, bro? Because Nico Williams, it looks like it's going to happen, bro. We're getting some updates, and they're basically saying like the first week of July is probably when it's going to be announced because they want to get him before preseason. I mean, do you rate Nico? I know a lot of Madrid fans are saying they don't rate Nico. Some of them do, but what are you saying about Nico Williams?
He looks better in Spain than he does at Bilbao. That's for sure. Now, the thing with that, Spain has better players than Bilbao. So maybe he's just a product of the system that he's a part of. And I think we all have to be dishonest. And Barcelona is obviously it would be an upgrade compared to like Bilbao. He's already familiar with a lot of players, I mean, the Yamal connection or whatever, I think it's a little overrated because they don't link up all the time like that. I think it's more like the Pedri connection, stuff like that. Gavi, all the other Spaniards there, Dani Olmo, stuff like that. I think he would be good at Barcelona. I just don't think it's needed. Like I mentioned it before when you guys were streaming too. Like, I just think when you have Rafinha coming off the year he has, to move him to another position, I think you're downgrading the left wing when you do that. I understand maybe you're saying, oh, we're trying to get the best starting 11 out there. I have a question for you though. When it comes to all the wingers that Barcelona already has today, where would you rank Nico Williams in that? If you added him today?
I mean, at worst, he has to be 3. I mean, we don't have wingers. Like let's be honest. Like, our current wingers is Lamine Yamal, Rafinha, and I don't rate the rest because it's Ansu Fati, who, let's be honest, I mean, injuries are part of the game. It's unfortunate, but brother, you got to go, right? On top of that, it's Pau Victor, who Flick says he likes, but he never plays him. So, dude, he doesn't like him. Let's be honest. He doesn't trust him enough to give him big minutes, right? So, I don't really think that Flick rates Pau Victor like that. I mean, yeah, maybe against Osasuna, give him 10 minutes. But what about when it actually matters against Inter, when Rafinha might pull his hamstring or he just gets tired? We don't have another guy. And even then, Nico at worst is our 3rd best winger. Like, he can't be 4th. He's proven way too much to be our 4th best. He's at worst 3rd. You know what I'm saying?
Now, compare if Real Madrid added Nico, for example, where would you rank him? 4th?
Okay, so you guys have hold on.
Mbappe, Rodrigo.
You guys have Rodrigo, Vinicius. Are we counting Mbappe then?
I would count Mbappe, yeah.
Okay. So Mbappe, Vinicius, Rodrigo. So he'll be fourth for Real Madrid. I mean, what about the right wingers? I don't know. I don't know really.
No, I mean Brahim. I think he's better than Brahim and stuff like that. I mean, some people might disagree. So if we do that, so he's what, sixth best in terms of if we add him up between your wingers and mine.
Okay, no, yeah, I guess he'll be like fifth or sixth. Yeah, I hear what you're trying to say, but
that's all I'm saying. I'm not that scared of Nico coming in more than anything. You know what I mean? I think Rafinha coming at a right back is scarier than what Nico is.
No, okay, I'm not gonna lie. I disagree with that because the reason why is that this is okay. If you said like Rafinha threw on goal, he's way more clinical than Nico Williams. But like Rafinha is not really a dribbler. Like most of the times that he's been, doing his damage was just scoring goals, like flat out. What Mbappe was doing for Real Madrid was Rafinha's role, like legit get in behind. Because Lewandowski, that's the thing that he can't do. Lewandowski cannot beat a guy for pace. The guy's 37, right? Rafinha, that was his thing, just running in behind and scoring goals, right? Off of Lamine Yamal, Pedri, almost through balls. But when it comes to in possession, Rafinha kind of struggles at dribbling. Like he doesn't really dribble well. I'm not gonna lie. Like they were calling him a fake Brazilian last year. Like he was getting a lot of name calls because he couldn't dribble like Neymar. He couldn't even dribble like a Rodrigo or Vinny. And I'm not even trying to hate on Rafinha. That's my guy. But I think that against low blocks, Nico will help us. Also with the width. Now you got Lamine, you got Rafinha on both sides. That's a lot of space for Olmo or Rafinha or Lewandowski. They have a lot of space to cook. Pedri also. So I think it makes us stronger. Also, I mean, I don't know if you see it, but we were very dependent on Lamine Yamal in the past probably 1/3 of the season. The last 1/3 of the season, extremely dependent. Nobody else could do dribble with penetration. And Nico Williams, he could do that. So that's why I rate the signing. And the guy's ambidextrous. He's young. He's a better investment than Luis Diaz. And also, this is the thing. This is why I highlighted the comment. Hansi Flick, right? Before I let you speak again, bro. Hansi Flick, the guy, legitimately, when it comes to attackers, what does Hansi Flick do best? He makes attackers just play better, right? The four attackers that played a lot of minutes, I always say, Ferran Torres, amazing season under Hansi Flick. I wanted him sold. Rafinha, amazing season under Hansi Flick. A lot of fans wanted him sold, getting a lot of calls, a lot of name calls. Lewandowski, oh my God. If there was one player that I wanted to get sold after last season, when Xavi left, it was Lewandowski. I said the guy is washed. The guy, he can learn Arabic. He can, he can already speak English. I could show him around LA. We got the Galaxy at LAFC. Pick your poison. Hansi Flick got this guy to score 40+ goals. On top of that, the last one, Lamine Yamal, he just got better. So I'm like, Nico Williams is going to get better. He's better than Ferran at the worst. He will do good. I just believe that. But listen, it is what it is. It's your opinion. I'm not going to get mad, bro, to be honest. But
yeah, I was going to say, I think Nico is going to do good there. At the same time, I mean, he's got to do better than this year. He had 5 goals, 5 assists for Bilbao.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. This is the thing, though. Like, the Rafinha's GA before Hansi Flick was kind of mid, bro. I'm not going to lie. Like, that's why I'm not really too worried. I'll tell you this. He won't score that many goals. I'm going to be honest. But I think his assist is going to maybe not double, but like 1.5 times. Like, I could see that. Like, I think Nico Williams probably get like 10 goals and maybe like 15 assists. Like, that's what I think is going to happen with him. But listen, we'll see, bro. We'll see. Big up to the chat, bro. Hey, yeah, bro, listen. Hansi Flick has completely changed our lives, bro. Like, I'm not going to lie. What Xavi Hernandez was saying last season of, this Barcelona team, they cannot compete. And then Hansi Flick just walked through the door. And, bro, I mean, the guy does his thing. But what about, let's talk about coaches. That was actually the next thing that I want to talk about. Do you rate Hansi Flick just as a manager?
I think he's fine. I think his system, he's really – the thing, in my opinion, though, is he willing to adapt? You know what I mean? I think he's going to live or die by the high line and stuff like that. And basically how he is as a coach is, I'm just going to outscore you and we'll live with the consequences of how many goals we concede. So what I've heard, I have not watched that much of Hansi Flick. I'd be lying to you if I went back and watched him a ton. But the thing, what I've always heard is that year 2 is never as good, basically. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think he's a good coach, and I think he does put some of the players in the right positions and stuff like that. We'll have to see exactly what happens this year with it.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. Like, what I would say is that Hansi Flick, bro, like there's a lot of strengths. The high line when it's working is very, very useful, bro. Like but the only thing that I disagree with it, you don't have to die on the high line. Like if your players are tired, if you don't have the personnel, why are we still playing? I always ask that question. Like it doesn't make sense. Inter Milan, they were a team that they could only create when we made a mistake. So like, what about let's actually force them to make their own goal. Let's drop back a bit because I don't think they have the quality to do that. But we just kept playing the high line. I disagree with it, and we went out of the UCL. Like on top of that, Hansi Flick's his whole game, his philosophy is really demanding. Like that's what I would say. Like you need a squad for Hansi Flick because the way that we press, I don't think it's a surprise that we dipped in the last 6 weeks of the season. We really dipped because physically, I don't think it's possible to play a full great season. I think Barca, even this year, the best that they'll do is they'll have a great year, but with like a 6-week period that they're out of form because that's just Hansi Flick system. You get the highs, you get the lows, bro. That's just what it is, bro. But this is why I like the Joan Garcia thing. You're getting a guy that can potentially save you when the high line's broken. You're getting, like, in my opinion, get a center back with pace that can recover, right? Because Araujo's been out of form. But listen, it is where it is. I do want to move off to Real Madrid once again, right? You guys are getting a new manager, right? Carlo Ancelotti, now he's coaching Brazil. What about Xabi Alonso? Are you excited for him? What are you saying about that?
I like the intensity that we've seen from Xabi early days. You know, we've only seen one game from him. We'll get to see what it looks like tomorrow. And the thing that I'm trying to kind of instill in everybody who watches Real Madrid and stuff is that I don't think you can really judge what tactical decisions he's making on the FIFA Club World Cup tournament. I think he's just implementing. I mean, some of those guys got to Miami and 3 days later they're playing in the game, stuff like that. You can't implement a system. That takes time. You have to do that, you know, on the training ground and stuff like that. I like the hands-on approach that we've seen from Xabi. He's out there playing the DM role. He's out there passing and stuff like that. He's more of a hands-on manager, and tactically is somebody who has succeeded before when he was at Leverkusen. I mean, that's the thing. I think when we talk about Hansi Flick, he was at Bayern Munich. He was at Germany. Those are good places, you know, goes to Barcelona. It's good. Going from Leverkusen, bringing them all the way up to what it was, I think you have to be a really good coach to do that too. And especially with how he made all of those players better too. Like not everybody, you know, Florian Wirtz, I think maybe was a special talent. Maybe no matter whoever the manager was, but look at how many players they've sold. You know what I mean? You got a Frimpong who was sold. He was at the Man City Academy, I believe, before. Jonathan Tah goes off to Bayern Munich now. He took a lot of players who were not rated that high. You know, Xhaka, you know who I'm talking about? The Arsenal player?
Xhaka, they had Grimaldo, Hincapié, bro. Yeah, I hear
you made them all good. So if he can take that with like middle level players and stuff like that, just imagine what he can do with some of the players who have struggled maybe at Real Madrid too. And what I want him to do is some of the players who I think we see the potential, like a Camavinga, if he can stay healthy, I think Camavinga could like elevate and stuff like that. So I'm excited for him. I think he just needs to get a little bit of time too. I don't think it's going to be something that happens, you know, at any time during the Club World Cup. We'll see what happens in La Liga. But
yeah. I mean, I want to show you this comment right here. So are you guys going to run a back three? Like I've asked the Madrid fans, and a lot of them, they don't know yet, but I do want to see if you guys are going to run a back three, just out of curiosity, because I don't think I've ever seen Madrid play a back three, like legitimately, like to start a game as a formation. I don't think I remember. It's usually a 4-3-3, but what are you saying about the back three?
It all depends on who's healthy. I think that's the thing. And that's one of the things that I rate about Xabi is that I think he's willing to adapt to the situation. When we talk about Hansi Flick, no matter who the personnel is out there, he's like high line. That's what it is. Where I think Xabi, you know, if we only have two center backs, we only have two center backs. You can't be putting a third out there if it's an academy player who sucks. You know what I mean? Just call it what it is. I think he's willing to adapt. I think his preference probably would be the three at the back. Have, you know, Trent go up into the midfield to have maybe a left back who goes and overlaps and stuff like that. I just think he's kind of willing to adapt. Rudiger has to get healthy. You have Asensio, who still has like that legal issue happening too, so we never know exactly what's going to happen with that.
True. I didn't even know that.
And then you have Huijsen. So those are only three. And then Alaba, I don't think you can really rely on him too. So maybe we get another center back. That's one of the ones I want, the transfer window still, but I don't know. It's going to kind of depend on the
No, what I would say, bro, I would say that, I'm not going to lie, who would be your left wing back, though? Because I know right wing back, that'll probably be Trey Alexander, but for left wing back, I don't know who's going to be because Mendy definitely can't play left wing back. I don't think he's offensive enough, right? No. Defense, that would be way too defensive. And then on top of that, right, you got Fran Garcia, who, I don't know, some of your fans just don't rate Fran. I don't know your stance on Fran, but he just hasn't really kicked on, from his days at Rayo.
I think he's fine. Mendy, I actually thought Mendy, when we won the Champions League, I thought he was good that year. I thought Mendy was really good that year. And then this year, he's just been hurt the entire time. I think he played like 12 games or something like that. It was something insane. And then he just sucked. Let's call it what it is. I think Fran is decent on the attack, and he is willing to actually make a cross and make a pass like forward. Mendy is allergic to it. It's just not a great pass. The crosses are never great. That's why like the Alphonso Davies rumors last year, I don't know if that was ever going to actually happen, but that would have been a really good solution too. I'd have to look at the stats. I thought Carreras only had like 1 assist all of last season for Benfica. I'm looking right now. Yeah, 1 assist, 3 goals in 32 matches last season.
No, I'm not gonna lie. Like when I'm looking at the left backs, like I feel like you guys honestly, like we're linked with the player Grimaldo. I don't know if you're in favor of Grimaldo going to Real Madrid because I was saying that he's linked with Barca and Madrid. If you go to Barca, you're gonna have to share time, probably be the backup for most of the season with Balde. If you go to Real Madrid, you have a chance to start. And even though he's an academy product of Barca, you got your old manager there. It's almost like a certainty, like some insurance that you're definitely going to play. I mean, is there like rumors to Grimaldo to Madrid? I saw a couple, but I don't know if it's strong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've seen it more with Barcelona than with Real Madrid. I think it's just the Xabi Alonso connection. That's like the whole thing with the Florian Wirtz thing. Everybody was like, is he going to go to Real Madrid and stuff like that? And that never made any sense to me, especially the price tag that it was. I think I'd probably see Grimaldo in Barca than I would Real Madrid. I think that's where he'd probably go.
Yeah, no, I know. I think he might come to Barca, but it's just that like for Real Madrid, I'm just saying the system. I feel like you want both of your fullbacks to be offensive, right? I feel like the position. That's what I think is going to happen because it depends. Like for example, you could actually get away with a Mendy left wing back if you're playing Barca because you guys are probably not going to dominate. But like if you're playing like a team like Leganes or Getafe, you don't want Mendy there. There's no point. Like you're gonna have so much of the ball that having Mendy doesn't even make sense. But we'll see what happens. But listen, so you're rating Alonso, huh? Like what is how do I say it? I know obviously you rate Alonso. You're a fan. You're gonna be optimistic. But what are you saying about like just expectations for like next season for Real Madrid?
Yeah, I think that's the interesting thing. I think the biggest thing for me, it's tough to put exact expectations on when we don't know if we're done getting any more transfers and stuff like that. You have to be competing immediately in La Liga and stuff like that. You can't, some of the losses that we had, I think we went from like 2 losses or maybe it was 1 loss. We lost to Atletico before to like 12 or 14. That can't be happening and stuff. I think you need to at least make the semis and Champions League. It depends on your road to it and stuff. But you got to go to the final day on La Liga at worst. You know what I mean? I don't think you can. I personally don't care that much about Copa del Rey and stuff like that. I'll be honest. When it's backups out there, like when it's the final, and all the starters are playing and stuff like that, sure. But I don't know when I see a bunch of academy players out there, I'm like, whatever, So
yeah, listen, I hear it, bro. In my opinion, I'm not gonna lie to you, right? I'm not like saying that I'm not rating Xabi Alonso. And you know what? Maybe this is the Barca fan of me, but I'm just saying, I think he needs. All I'm gonna say, I think this is the truth. I think he needs to have a good start, or not even a great start, just a decent start, like an 8 out of 10 start. Maybe a 7 out of 10 at minimum. Because if Xabi Alonso gets to a slow start, bro, I think there's only one club with like more pressure than Barcelona to succeed. It's probably Real Madrid. That managerial hot seat, Carlo Ancelotti. One thing that's so underrated with him is that how he responds to chaos. The guy just says it's okay, and sometimes it drives the fans crazy. The quotes, you know what I'm saying? People were saying that his quotes this season was like Ten Hag-esque, but he has to sound like that because any other tone, it sounds like he's giving up or he feels the pressure. So I don't know how Xabi Alonso, a young manager at Real Madrid, Florentino Perez, I've seen this guy be super cutthroat at times. I've seen Lopetegui sacked in I think like 2-3 months. Maybe it was definitely less than 4 months. And you know what's crazy? I rated Lopetegui because I remember watching his Sevilla teams. I was like, yo, Lopetegui's a good manager. And he just got booted out of Madrid just like that. And I'm like, I'm not saying Xabi's definitely going to be the next one. No, he's different. In my opinion, probably more impressive, fair enough, right? With Leverkusen, what he did in the Europa League, going to the final, but then he lost to Atalanta. But the run was there, yeah, the Bundesliga. I still feel like he has some flaws. You know, he lost to a bad Bayern Munich team, 5-0, right? I'm not saying it is perfect. In my opinion, as a Barca fan, I would have got super scared if you guys got Inzaghi or Jurgen Klopp. Any of those two managers, it would have been problems. I really feel like that. Both, especially Inzaghi, bro. 2 games.
Oh, actually, I rated Jurgen more personally. I wanted Klopp. I thought Klopp. You kind of already know what you're getting with Klopp. You know what I mean? I think the issue is the thing with Perez and the thing with Carlo is Carlo was always a glorified yes man. You know what I mean? You talk about some of the quotes and stuff like that too. He would never go against the club. He would never say, "Oh, we need more signings. We need this and stuff." He might say it nowadays. But at the time, he was like, nope, this is what we have and stuff. And that's why you would see the jokes be like, Militao is the new center back signing of the summer or whatever for Real Madrid. Like that. That's how it is, man.
When I was seeing that, bro, I'm not going to lie. In January, I was a bit scared. I was like, yo, is Real Madrid? They've got the money to do something in January. And they didn't. And they were saying that they're not going to get any signs. And I was like,
good job, right?
Carlo, you're my guy, bro. Listen, I was like, thank you, brother. You know what I'm saying? You guys are giving us a La Liga like that. But I do want to say this comment right here is exactly how I feel about Xabi. I think he's a talented manager. I think that he has ideas, and I think it works, right? But I do want to say that, bro, at Leverkusen, with all due respect, it's not a big club like that. It's a big club in their country, but Real Madrid, you're under pressure from legitimately day one. People were calling me crazy. I remember doing match previews with Hansi Flick, his first game. I was saying in my videos, Hansi Flick's already under pressure. That's the truth. Because if you don't win your first 2 La Liga games, let's be real. If Xabi Alonso doesn't win his first 2 La Liga games, people will be like, you know what? I know it's overreacting, but it's just the truth. And I was saying Flick, it's just the truth. But listen, at the end of the day, we just got to see, bro. We can't really say too much about it. But what about this, right? We only got like one more topic, but I didn't, know about this kid until Real Madrid signed him. I watched some highlights. I've heard of him before. What are you talking about? What are you saying about Franco Mastantuono? I think that's his name.
I think you nailed it. First of all, we actually get Franco watch here in about 3 hours too, as he takes on my boy Sergio Ramos too in Monterrey and the Club World Cup. So we'll see. Kid's 17. You know what I mean? You're familiar with 17-year-olds, you know, especially Barcelona right now.
Hey, yo, Lamine Yamal right now, guys. I'm not going to lie. This guy's doing some madness off the pitch, bro. Listen, I don't know what's wrong with him, bro. I don't know what's he doing, bro. I don't know what Lamine's feeling. Bro, he's taking this Neymar inspiration a bit too far. He's got to relax, bro. But it is
he went to see Neymar to get the stamp of approval and stuff for the action. But
yeah,
the thing with Franco, it's going to be interesting. I think he's more of like a right winger. You know, a lot of people have compared him like to Arda Guler and stuff like that. I don't think they're at all related. I think it's going to be interesting to see. It's a project player more than anything. It's a luxury signing. I think he's farther along than what Endrick was coming from Palmeiras. Yeah. Personally, me, I like his frame and the size of him. I mean, Endrick's going to struggle. The thing I talked about it before with Endrick when he actually signed. I said if he turns into the Brazilian Sergio Aguero, I think that's a win for Real Madrid. You know what I mean? About the same size, same physical approach and everything like that striker. I don't know exactly what Franco would be, but.
You know, yeah, I don't know about Franco. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. With players like these, the highlights is the thing. I always say, even with Nico, I mean, I've watched Nico enough, but like with any player, highlights only show you the good. And I'm not going to lie, highlights, what are they anymore? Let's be real. You're going to see some things. Okay, maybe you see some tendencies that he likes to do all the time. But that's about it. Like, you're only going to see the good parts about their game. You're not going to see when they're holding on to the ball too long. Maybe they're offsides a lot. You're not going to see that part. So I'm just going to wait to see, Mastantuono, probably like 2, 3, 4 times maybe. But speaking about Endrick and Guler, Endrick, to be fair, we weren't ever really linked with him strongly. Guler, on the other hand, that guy, right now, that guy's supposed to be wearing my jersey right now. He's supposed to be wearing the blue and red. That's why when Guler, I can't lie. Bro, I'm a bit petty, bro. But Guler, when I'm seeing him not play, And fair enough, he won a UCL on the bench.
Lagging a little for me, mate. I'm not sure if it's. I think you're lagging for me. Probably for the stream too. Let's see what the stream's saying. I'll talk about Arda until you get your thing. But I like Arda. I rate Arda. Unfortunately for Arda, he's played as like a right winger a lot. And that's not where he should be at all. I think he needs to be more in the midfield. He's a 10 at the end of the day. That's really where we see, I think, Arda Guler at his best, in my opinion. That's where we see him for Turkey, and he does really well there. He is somebody who I think can be like a creator out there for Real Madrid. I think he can be somebody who scores a ton of goals, honestly. And I hope he plays more for Real Madrid this year. The thing is with Xabi Alonso, too, there was reports last year that Xabi Alonso wanted him at Leverkusen. And so it's going to be interesting to see exactly what Xabi has in mind for him, because you can want a player, but when it actually comes to you actually have that player, it's going to be interesting to see. The thing, too, with Xabi, I thought Arda was really trying for Xabi in the last game against Al Hilal. So I don't know what to expect exactly from him. I think he's a baller. I think he's somebody who can score a ton of goals. And I think what we saw a couple of times last year with Kylian Mbappe and with Arda Guler was they had a really good link up too. I think he is somebody who can kind of progress the ball from the midfield to the attackers and kind of put him in good positions. Unfortunately for Real Madrid last year, the guys, they were just cross FC. We were crossing it to nobody. We would think that Joselu was out there. We thought we had Erling Haaland out there in the middle or something like that. We're crossing it to nobody. I think when you actually have a playmaker kind of there in the middle, I think that's really where we can kind of see that Arda Guler at his best. And when it comes to Endrick too, injury situation for Endrick at the end of this year, which sucks. I thought it'd be nice to be seeing him in the Club World Cup and stuff like that. I don't know if he's somebody who's going to get a ton of play time, especially you bring Franco in. The thing with Endrick too, he played a lot of like a right winger guys. So I don't know. Let me read the chat. Guys. I'm taking over. I'm watching DallyFC live stream all of a sudden. Good. I took over the chat, guys. I hacked it. What are we saying? Let's see. Faxi's a 10. More of Pep. Madrid playing possession-based football would be interesting to watch. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be possession-based. I think it's going to be more counter-attacking and really creating opportunities off the counter-attack. Wi-Fi selling right now. Hold up. No worries, mate. I got you. I think Low and Endrick, that might be a good one. When does the season fixtures get released? Probably in a couple weeks. We actually get to see the schedule. I'm not 100% sure yet. I would guess so. El Clasico would probably be in November. Vivi was asked to track back, got tried, and lost his one-on-one ability. Maybe. I want to see chat. Let me know your thoughts on Franco Mastantuono. What are your thoughts on him as a player? I think what my guy was saying, the Barca React, what he was saying, you can't really watch just highlights on players. I think the best thing that you can do, my guy's back. Look at this.
My bad, guys. Yo, the Wi-Fi absolutely sold. Legitimately turned off for a second. You know, guys, we're lucky the stream just didn't end. You know what I'm saying? So
that is true.
At the end of the day, it is what it is, bro. You know, hey,
I went full screen. I was like, let me just make this a Real Madrid channel for a second. So
yeah. I hear it. Trying to convert some Barca fans. But listen, I'm not gonna lie. What I was saying, I was speaking about Arda Guler, bro. Maybe Perez heard me, bro, and he's like, yeah, we're cutting the Wi-Fi. But
cut that. You done.
Nah, bro. What I was gonna say, Arda Guler is a very good player. It's just that I was kind of mad. That's probably the last player that I'm mad and disappointed that Barca didn't sign him. But listen, at the end of the day, I think personally he made a worse career decision. But listen, it is what it is. At the time, he probably thought he was probably promised more game time at Madrid. It just didn't happen, bro. That's how stuff happens sometimes. But I'm looking at with Mastantuono, him and Arda kind of like a similar profile. And I'm like, I don't know. Is Mastantuono, is he going to play? Some people are telling me he's going to play over Arda. I'm like, really? I don't know. I don't know what to expect, to be honest.
I think they're a little different. I think you called it good. And, I 100% agree with you too. You got to watch you got to watch the games. You know what I mean? I think big thing for me too, you watch the highlights, anybody, man, we'd probably look pretty good out there too. Get a couple of clips of us out there just banging in goals, top in, stuff like that. We're looking good. You got to watch actually some of the recaps of the games though, and stuff like that, where you actually get to see the build-up play, exactly where they are positional and stuff like that. That's why I'm interested to see how he does today against Monterrey. I think that's going to be interesting to see. I think that Arda can be playing a little deeper, more like a floating 8 sort of role too. And Franco, he starts at the right wing, but he drifts inside, which is fine. I think they could play together. And he's not like a natural like right winger. He's not a Yamal. He's not a Rodrigo. He's not a Salah, anything like that. I think there's so many 10s out there in the world now. Yeah. I think that's one of the positions that you can kind of replace at any time. There's so many builds like that. It just depends what you want. If you want a Brahim Diaz, if you want an Arda Guler, Jude Bellingham, and Olmo, there's so many guys you can throw out there. So
yeah, big up my guy Barca Volume. I'm here with him like every Tuesday on Barca Talk, but he's saying that they are different players. Mastantuano is a winger who likes to play interior. Arda is more of a midfielder build up. Yeah, bro. Listen, at the end of the day, bro, this is why I was kind of mad that we missed out on Arda, because I was like, Arda screams Barca. Like, I'm not gonna lie, there's some Real Madrid players, and you might disagree because they've wore your shirt for so long, but I'm like, Luka Modric. That guy could play for my club in his prime. Like, I'm talking like he fits like the philosophy, everything, right? And obviously, maybe I'm getting greedy, but Toni Kroos does too. So I'm like, those two guys, maybe not Casemiro, but I'm like, those two guys, where were our scouts, bro? Why didn't they come to my club? But it is what it is. But the last thing that I want to talk about, right, is the Club World Cup, bro. So do you think that, listen, I'm not going to lie, I think you guys have a very good chance to, at minimum, make the semis. Realistically, you guys should be in the final. At worst, if you guys don't see PSG. Like, I'm going to be honest. It's PSG number 1 favorite for me. Then it's Real Madrid. And then I'm not really rating anybody else. Maybe Real Madrid will have to beat themselves, a random team. Might even be from South America. The way we're seeing the games, the South American teams are very strong, bro. Botafogo, they just beat PSG. I don't know, but I'm saying Real Madrid right now, currently, are the second. Hey, Brazil, bro. Brazil's going crazy right now. Flamengo absolutely waxed Chelsea, bro. Legit yesterday. But once again, what I was going to say is right now, I got Real Madrid as second favorites. And if they lose, it would be to a surprise. I actually believe that PSG are the favorite, Madrid are second. Like, what are you saying about that?
I think PSG has to be the favorite. They won everything this year over there in France, winning Champions League, the amount of players that they have. I think that, if you went like one-on-one, position by position, I think you'd probably choose more PSG players over. I think right now they're just balling. So I think they're definitely the favorite. I think Man City could give teams a run just because of the talent they have and all the other players, and that's the thing too. I'm watching that group carefully because we're going to, if we make it out, no, there's no promise about that anymore. You know what I mean?
Nah, if you guys
probably,
make it out,
if we don't make it out, it's
generational, guys.
Generational hate watch for y'all. Yeah.
Generational, guys. If Real Madrid, that third game, if they drop points again, and I'm looking at the table and it's somewhat out of their control, we will be there. I can't lie. We will be there for the watch on. But once again, hey, I do want to say this. The chat's saying, big up Barca Volume. Inter Miami. Yo, I'm going to be honest. Inter Miami, there's no way. I'm going to be honest. Let's be realistic. Barca Volume, you're my guy, right? And guys, subscribe to this guy too, Barca Volume. But there's just no way that Inter Miami wins, bro. Lionel Messi, there's just no way. He scored that free kick. It was amazing, right? But they're just not good enough, bro. What I saw in the last 2 games, especially the first game, they're horrible. I don't know if you caught the first game, the opener. They were horrible. They were bad, legitimately. Yeah. It was legit. It was even both sides were horrible. It was legit. It was a game on how to finish bad. Like, legit, it was bad finishing, bad defending, and it was just a bad game. But I don't think Inter Miami's got it. It's just messy. But, you got anything else to say about the Club World Cup?
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see, as my guy Adam said in the chat, it's either going to be City or Juventus that Real Madrid would play. If we finish first, we'll play the second place team. If we finish second, we'll play the first. That's who it'd probably be. And that is not the easiest out game to get in the round of 16 or whatever it would be, the knockout group. That's not easy. There's a lot of teams that are going to get a lot easier games than that. I mean, some of these groups are wild. Have you taken a look at some of the groups? I'm like, Who are these teams? Yeah.
Messi's group outside of Porto, you would think it's
not
easy.
even that good.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, let's be honest. Like, Inter Miami were, I think, the big team. Inter Miami are trash. How are they the big team in a group? Like I was like, nah, I'm gonna be honest. Some of the groups are questionable. I'm gonna be honest. I'm watching some South Africans, with all due respect to my Africans, but some name and they had Sundowns versus like some Japanese team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm not watching that, bro. I might catch the highlights if it's a 4-3 type of game. You know, I might see, but I'm not watching.
BVB was actually good today. That was actually a good one today. So, but when it comes, when it comes to Real Madrid and like the Club World Cup, get to the final. You never know what happens. You know what I mean? I don't think it's a glorified, friendly or anything like that. I think these South American teams are trying. You know what I mean? And I think that those are tough teams too, especially when it comes to knockout, because they're physical as hell. They're going to make it difficult for everybody out there too. And especially we have no Mbappe right now too. We don't even know if we're going to see him in any of the group stage games. So that's going to be an interesting thing too.
Yeah, bro. I mean, we'll see with Real Madrid, bro. But do you watch the NBA, bro? The finals.
Miami Heat. Yeah, who do we got for finals? I'm going to probably go Thunder just because they're home. I was going to ask you,
who do you got winning the NBA finals? Because, bro, been all the football, bro. We're Americans, bro. West Coast here, East Coast. Bro, so you got what? The Oklahoma?
I'm going to Oklahoma, yeah. I think they're just home court and everything like that. Halliburton, maybe. Never. I just want a good game. I don't really care who wins, to be honest with you. But it's been a good series. It just hasn't been a bunch of good games. I want a good game. I want this to come down in the final 30 seconds in this game. I just want somebody to make a shot, To be
fair, game one was fire. Like, game one was an all-timer. I can't lie. Like, I mean, come on. Like, it wasn't a buzzer beater, but it basically was 0.3 seconds on the clock. I'm saying I don't care. I think Oklahoma will win, but I want Indiana. Who do you want to win? I want Indiana to win. Just because of the story. I've never seen a championship with no superstar. Like, I've been watching since 2015, the NBA. I've never seen a championship without a Steph Curry, LeBron, at least a Kawhi Leonard at worst. Kawhi is a great player, and that's the worst superstar for a championship, right? So I want to see Indiana, bro. That's just me.
I'd probably rather see Indiana just because it'd be a huge upset and stuff like that too. Anybody who made any bets on that too, that's going to pay out like crazy. I also think OKC has a better chance to be back there the next 2 or 3 years, And so I don't really want to see a dynasty, anything like that. It gets boring after a while, you know what I mean? Seeing Golden State and stuff like that. But yeah, I'd probably rather see Pacers, but I think OKC gets it done. So
yeah, no, that's what I'm thinking. I think OKC in 7, but listen, they're at home. They're going to feel the pressure. Indiana, could they do something? But listen, we'll see if Halliburton's got something for me. But it is what it is. Big up Dallio. What you got coming up, bro? Shout your thing out, bro. I got your thing in the title too. But
I appreciate it, mate. Appreciate you having me on too. We'll definitely have to when we get El Clasico coming up too, and we'll see what else happens this offseason too. Before I shout out everything too, we'll be doing watch along tomorrow too, instant reaction too. I got one question for you though. I saw the other day and I was like, I got to get a Barcelona guy's perspective on this. Ballon d'Or. How many? Not this year. Not this year. How many does Lamine Yamal get? He's 17 now. The PR is insane. He's already dating 30-year-olds and stuff like that. How many Ballon d'Ors does Lamine Yamal get at the end of the day?
It's Lamine Yamal's world, and we're just living in it, bro. Listen, we're just here, But I'm gonna say 3, bro. I think 3 is safe. I think that they're probably gonna make a rival. I don't know if it's gonna be Mbappe and Lamine if you're gonna try to do that. But I'm gonna say 3. If he gets 4, that's 3 or 4. I'm gonna be honest. But bro, if he gets 3, I'm gonna be more than happy. That means he's definitely got to win the UCL in there, and that's good for me. But I'm gonna say 3 Ballon d'Ors, bro. Maybe 4, 3 or 4. I don't see him getting 5. That would be ridiculous. That would surprise me.
I saw it crazy. I saw people like 8, 9 and stuff like that. He's going to go generational. Nah. I was like, I don't know about that.
You know why? Truly, Lionel Messi has something that is just like the one thing that I say that Yamal, when people are saying he's the next Messi, he doesn't have Messi's explosiveness. He doesn't have Messi's explosiveness in terms of dribbling. Lamine beats you kind of with more flair, where Messi just, bam, it's just a bunch of small touches and he's out. So I feel like Messi's more unstoppable. I mean, we got away with Lamine. Bro, Lionel Messi, people are saying this. He's the next. Nah, bro. Messi was a monster. Lamine's a monster, but I still think Messi is just a better talent when it comes to efficiency. He's just more dominant as a player. So I think around 3 or 4. I think that's realistic, bro.
Yeah, I think it's conservative. I think realistic too. I wouldn't put it. I wouldn't put it past them. Get a couple and stuff. What happens though? It's kind of the same thing in the NBA. We keep bringing NBA back up here. It's voter fatigue. What happens? They get. Yeah. They win it. That's why you saw this year with Shea winning it too, where Jokic probably could have won it too. It's just kind of a PR thing, and whoever you want to win it too. I mean, you never know. You never know, mate.
But listen, man, what you got coming up, bro? Tell the people.
We got, again, watch along tomorrow. We get to see what happens. Game 2 for Xabi Alonso. We'll be doing that. We'll be doing an instant reaction after 2 match reaction. The whole trio tomorrow. We'll be doing it too. And anything related to Real Madrid too. I'm not just doing rumors though. We're anything that has substantial evidence out there too. I only talk about Real Madrid. I'm happy to come on here and talk a little Barcelona too. Get my perspective on it too. But yeah,
hey, listen,
appreciate
bro.
you having me on here, mate. Though.
Yeah, listen, bro. Maybe before the first La Liga game, maybe I'll get you on. Maybe another time. What's it called? Near the first El Clasico for sure. That's probably when I definitely want you on. But listen. We'll be in touch every now and then, right? I always see your live or a video. Sometimes leave a comment, and you do the same for me. So I appreciate you guys, brothers. And listen, also people in the chat, smash the likes, big up. We'll be back soon, right? Visca Barça at the end of the day. It's not Holland Madrid here. Visca Barça. Hey, and that's it for me. I'll see y'all soon.
Al Madrid.